a little bit more so I can leave everything in, although this doesn't look like it's sped up at all. How's everyone been? Sorry I didn't get a video up yesterday. We've had an unfortunately a funeral to go to this week, so saying goodbye to a beautiful lady. And my friend from Mackay came down, my bestie. She came down, and I took the opportunity to catch up with her while she was here for a quick overnight for a funeral. Okay, so what I'm using here is, this is a really basic layout, really simple, but I'm using 49th and Market Spectrum Sherbet, and I'm using the Solids Watermelon page, just so I've already got a background made, and that's what these pages are for. So I do use a little bit of mixed media, not much, but a little bit. And that's why I thought I could speed it up a little bit, because there's not much technique involved, but you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So something else I wanted to talk to everyone about is this weekend. I have put it in my diary. This weekend I'm setting up a Facebook group, so we can share our own creations. I can share a lot more of my still creations, because I'm having trouble with people being able to join my personal page. So there's one way around this. I'll create a group. How about that? We'll call it Create with Karen, and that'll be that simple. So I will put it on my Facebook page, and it will be up and running by Monday, hopefully. So, okay, so what I'm using here, you can see me poking and prodding and carrying on here. These, when they say all dyes are not made equal, you know what? I'm going to out this company, because every single dye that I have got from Kaisercraft doesn't cut out properly. Infuriates me. I have to sit there and I even used my, you did see it pop in there, it's universal quick release dye paper, and I've bought that. I actually bought that specifically because I couldn't get these dyes to pop out properly, and it was just driving me nuts. So anyway, the ones that I've used here, that I use all the time from Uniquely Creative, those ones, they cut perfect, they pop out perfect, never a problem. However, sorry if you can hear my daughter sneezing. First thing in the morning, she sneezes every day. Okay, so what I decided to do is, instead of bringing more colour to the page, I was going to cut my leaves out in black and just do a real contrast. Then I thought, okay, you know what I could do? I'll use the cutout stencils, and I'm using my Distress Oxide in Weathered Wood, and I'm just using the bit that I cut out as a stencil, basically, and because I'm going to throw it in the bin anyway, so I might as well, what's it matter if I get a bit of ink on it? So just to create a little bit of a shadow behind the black, which is quite intense. I've got to be honest, it's pretty intense, but you know, that's all right. And I'm just using my foam dauber, my mini dauber, not my finger dauber, my mini dauber. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm pretty sure I'm calling it the wrong thing, but you know what I mean. And see how it just creates, it makes it look more full, but I knew if I just kept layering black on black on black, it's not going to do anything. So that's why I thought, you know what? I actually really like this layout. It's so simple, but the contrast is so effective. And see, you just get those little bits poking out from behind the black. Like yeah. I did fiddle a little bit here, because these dyes, they only go one direction, obviously. You can flip them over, not a problem. I was just having a fiddle to see if I didn't mind if I flipped them over a little bit or whatever. Okay, I'm just showing you there. So that's my Spellbinders Platinum 6 die cutting machine. This is my machine that I use. Had a couple of people ask me about it. Now, I bought I didn't use it in this video because it hadn't arrived yet, but I have actually bought the magnetic platform, and I used it yesterday, just playing with it, mucking around, getting the feel for it. Game changer. Absolute game changer. Something like this, it holds beautifully. It's so good. It's going to make such a difference when I'm doing my lettering. It really will make such a difference. And yeah, so I absolutely love it. I bought my platform from Craft Online, and it was $52, and I bought it last week. So if you're wanting a magnetic platform for your dies, so they sit where you want them to sit and they don't move as you're rolling them through, get yourself a magnetic platform. Now, I do have a platform, the other one that I bought. When I start the Facebook group up, I will pop it up there because clearly I'm not going to use it, so because it doesn't work in my machine. So I will pop it up there, and first in, best dressed, Australian only probably, because posting it overseas, you're going to waste, like, that's crazy. So yeah, I'm not going to use it, and there's no point in it sitting in my stash taking up space that I could put something else in. So I will move that one on. Now I'm going through and I'm removing all the letters out of the center. So this is a drop shadow lettering cut file. It's not a cut file. It's a die. Have I written it down? Yes, I did. Sizzix Thinlets, ABC, and the number is 664728. And you can get 3 different styles of writing out of the one die. Perfect. Now, this is something else I wanted to show you. This is my Inka Gold. Now, I've had a bit of a love-hate relationship. It was an emotional purchase. I grabbed it because it was a fear of missing out situation. I barely use it. I went to use this a couple of weeks ago and it was rock hard. The whole thing, rock hard. I think I've used it maybe twice. So I was not impressed with that. So I figured, you know what? It's buggered anyway. So I might as well see what happens if I douse it in water and just leave it sit. Maybe it'll absorb the water and come good again. Bazinga! It worked. Totally worked. So if yours starts to dry out before you chuck it in the bin, because you're going to chuck it in the bin anyway because it's dried out, do yourself a favour. Just put some water in there. I just used normal tap water, and I used filtered water. Probably in hindsight, I probably should have used boiled, non-chemical, blah, 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 blah. But I just dumped some in there and it absorbed it. And then I got in there and I just worked it with my fingers. So I smushed the whole thing around. A little messy, but you know, it was fun. And it all come good, and I laid it all flat again, and 2 weeks later, it's still perfect. So do yourself a favour with your products before you chuck them out. You're going to chuck it out anyway, you might as well try something and see if it works. And that did. So that's an FYI, because I know there's not just Inka Gold, there's other metallics as well, and there's other, so you might have one and it might be starting to dry up. So, well, if you live in hot Queensland, when it's hot most of the time. So all I did is I went over my letters with the Inka Gold while I was waffling on then, and then I went over them with my Glossy Accents because I wanted them to be glossy gold, and they look so good. The photos are better to look at than the video. So if you pop over to my Facebook page, I will put this video up, but I'll put all the photos, I'll put them all up once I set up the new channel, the group, I mean to say. I'll get my channels and my groups right soon, one of these days, I swear, I really will. So here I am. For some reason, my cardstock was really staticky, and it was it was giving me grief. It really was. So I just go through with my art glitter glue. And for those Aussies that are new to crafting, art glitter glue it's a white glue. It dries clear. It doesn't dry matte. It dries clear though. Now, I really like it because it's got a really nice fine tip on it, and it adheres quickly. So because I'm used to it, I know that I have once those papers kiss together, you've got a couple of seconds and it bites. So I'm used to that. Some people, you need to get, it takes a little bit of time to get used to it, but when you do, the glue is a game changer. It is more expensive than other glues, but I will be honest, you can buy larger bottles, decant them into your smaller bottle, and this glue goes forever because you use next to no glue, honestly. And then what I'm doing is I've come back, my Glossy Accents has dried. So that's my forceful way of getting these letters back into their home. And see how shiny they are? Oh, they look so good. Like I said, it's just a really simple page. And it was just a quickie that I thought I'd do a quick power scrap. And it did take me longer than I thought, but I've sped it up so it sort of comes into the power scrap category. Now, I'm adding this to to my YouTube channel, and I did go along with my white pens. Now, at the moment, I'm using my Uniball Signo. I'm having so much grief with these pens at the moment. It's driving me crackers. I think I'm just going to have to outlay and buy new ones. The last layout, I had trouble, and this one I had trouble. But it could just be, look, it could just be the heat. I won't be, the coolness that we're dealing with at the moment. But I just went around the edges. I switched over to my Posca Pen, and it worked a treat. I think the outline on the letters kind of just soften it. They're still black, but they just soften it a little bit. So, and there was nothing really to say about this. It was just a nice photo of me and my bestie quite a while ago when she was down. It was actually for Commonwealth Games she came down, and which was a few years ago now. So check out those letters, everybody. Here's the close-up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, this little Aussie mum would love you to subscribe, and I will share details and go through and change all the details to the Facebook group over the weekend. So wish me luck. It's going to be a busy computer weekend. I'd love a subscribe, and I'd love a thumbs up, and I also love your comments. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll chat to you again soon. Thanks for that. Bye.